And let's take you back. We understand that the DA is speaking, Tanya Campbell herself. Let's quickly dip in there. All right, they're setting up at the moment. We'll take you back live as soon as she talks. This is the mayor who has been ousted. And remember, she actually admitted after the local government elections that she was surprised to have been elected mayor of Ekurhuleni. And that was because the EFF was voting with the DA, not in any sort of coalition agreement, just saying that at that time its interests were aligned because it didn't want to see the ANC in power. So seemingly the balance of power has changed. Maybe that is down to EFF votes, but the vote of no confidence has gone through against Tanya Campbell. Let's see if she's, I think she's about to speak. Let's take you live back to Ekurhuleni.
Ekurhuleni. How it will work is the outgoing EM will have a statement that she will read. Likewise, Sianda will also read a statement out. After that, we'll be taking 2 rounds of 3 questions. Anyone wants to speak to us after that, they can do so on the side. All right, thank you.
Residents of Ekurhuleni, I stand before you today, no longer the mayor of this great city, but a leader of the opposition party within council. While we're clearly disappointed that the coalition of corruption succeeded in bringing an end to the good work and the hard commitment and driven commitment of the multi-party coalition, we accept that we have an equally important role to play from the opposition benches. The residents of this great city deserve nothing less, and we will not give up the fight. The multi-party coalition has spent 10 months working to undo the damage done by the ANC over the past 2 decades, 21 years. We have managed to achieve a number of successes and have been able to bring changes for the better to the lives of many of our residents. From the opening of Skill Centre in Vosloorus to early childhood development centres in Palm Ridge and Katlehong, from electrifying 1,367 households with previously had no power to installing over 48 water points, from cleaning and rehabilitating 112 illegal dumping hotspots to more than 48 kilometres of roads being rehabilitated. From maintaining over 2,100 stormwater systems to more than 29,000 square metres of potholes patched across the city, which I may add has not been done for 3 years. The city is just a sample of what the multi-party coalition has achieved in less than a year. And we have done so in a climate of hostility and a culture of resistance to change. We have done so against the backdrop of trying global and domestic economic uncertainty, which has made our task that much more harder. This government has had a positive impact on the lives of those whom we elected to serve, residents of our Ekurhuleni. Every one of the parties represented in the multi-party coalition has served diligently and carried out their responsibilities for the betterment of the residents of Ekurhuleni at all times. They conducted themselves with the humility benefiting that they are elected office bearers. I want to thank each and every one of them for their hard work. Residents, I want to assure you that our job is far from done. Those who seek power at all costs are one step closer to putting their hands back in the public purse, to line their own pockets or the pockets of the parties that they serve. Now more than ever, we remain steadfast in our resolve to ensure that residents come first. It may be far from the opposition benches, but our commitment remains unwavering. I thank you and I thank all the staff in Ekurhuleni that is committed to the multi-party coalition. Your hard work is much appreciated. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you, Alderman Campbell, for that address. My name is Councillor Makubo, and I'm the spokesperson for the multi-party coalition here in the city of Ekurhuleni. And the multi-party comprising of the Democratic Alliance, Action SA, the FF Plus, and ACDP. We came into this council knowing very well that we're a minority government. We have always been a minority government since the inception of this term. And what this multi-party coalition government was able to do and demonstrate to the rest of the country is that coalition governments can work if you consult all parties represented in council. We understand that the numbers have never been on our side, and the events of today are culminating from what I call silly season within the ANC. This is an attempt by the ANC to bring themselves back to the seat of power, to come through the back door. Look, residents in 2021 demonstrated that they will not put the ANC back in power, and that is why they lost power, specifically in all metros and in Ekurhuleni. So as the multi-party coalition government, we respect the rule of law, we respect democracy, and what transpired today in council is a demonstration of our democratic rights as South Africans, where councillors that residents voted for decided to take that democratic process. And we accept, and we will take the opposition benches. You know, it's silly season because now the ANC has a responsibility. The ball is in the ANC's court. Their responsibility is now in their court to form a government in Ekurhuleni, and what our responsibility is as opposition is to ensure that we hold that government to account. The years of mismanagement, the years of underdevelopment of infrastructure within the city meant that the ANC was removed from power. And we are of the view and opinion that this is not what the residents want. The residents voted in 2021, they demonstrated that they don't want the ANC, and this is what we have right now. So the ball is in all parties in council to form a government, and if it means we will be in the opposition benches, we will be in the opposition benches. Thank you.
Thank you. Just by a show of hands, please. When you address us, could you please indicate which media house you're from and your name? Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Ekurhuleni from KCFM. Mayor Campbell, what do you think went wrong? Because even smaller parties that seemed to support you before, they were now turning their backs on you. What went wrong?
Good evening. My name is Nkosi Khona Malingamdisi from Power FM. I just wanted to ask the outgoing mayor, particularly about the residents of Tembisa. I covered that particular unrest quite extensively that week. What now happens to the promises? We know that your government back in July had given about 90 days to essentially turn things around and assist, in addressing those grievances. So what happens to that? Because also in recent weeks, some residents of Tembisa have threatened to head back to the streets, essentially accusing the now outgoing government of dragging their feet and addressing. But I think the bigger picture is what happens to those plans and those promises made. Thank you.
Anyone else? Right, we'll answer those two questions then, so long.
Okay, thanks. With the smaller parties, we are in a coalition. So our coalition stood steadfast. Not one single party from our coalition had voted against the motion. So I don't know which other parties were not part, that turned my back on, as you're stating, but the parties that voted for the motion are in coalition with the ANC. The parties who did not vote for the coalition are obviously not in coalition with anyone. However, I do think it's important to note that stability has to happen within the city. We created the platform for that stability and we would hope that that stability would carry forward.
All right, that is the outgoing mayor of Ekurhuleni, Tanya Campbell, and it seems like the DA in that municipality taking a very different stance from the DA mayor who was ousted in Johannesburg. That then went through the courts. She's back, but Tanya Campbell saying that she now accepts that this is democracy and that the DA will be in the opposition. Perhaps a reference at the end there to the EFF because they weren't in the coalition, but they voted her in the first place. Now she has been voted out.